We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
You have fun. Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you.
Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at belisiofoods.com/careers.
Everyone, and welcome to another edition of the morning show right here on Main Street TV. Of course, Jennifer here to start off your morning, as always, with one of our guests and from our favorite place, and that's Holzer. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hey, yeah, of course. If you would pull that mic up a little bit, I should have asked you that ahead of time. Yep. It doesn't pick up as much as my blabby mic over here does. So. But no, welcome. We love to have our guests from Holzer here and talk with you all. And so I guess first off, would you introduce yourself? Tell our guests a little bit, or our viewers a little bit about yourself.
Yes, my name's Courtney Moore. I am a family nurse practitioner, and I'm seeing patients at the Jackson Clinic, Holzer Clinic on the Hill, so on Pattonsville Road.
So I thought I was the only one that set up on top of the hill.
That's how I refer it to when patients. It's the one on the hill, not on the highway.
The one on the hill or the one on the highway.
Yeah,
yes.
that's what I do.
Okay, I'm glad that you refer to it that way as well.
Yeah.
Very good. So so tell us a little bit about how you ended up at Holzer, where you grew up, all that stuff.
So I grew up in Beaver. I still live there, which is just a little under 20 minutes that way towards Cincinnati. And prior to coming to Holzer, I worked at SMC as a RN. And then once I graduated, started looking for job opportunities. And Holzer, there was a opportunity opened up at Holzer. Started there 2 years ago here, and I specialized in gastroenterology.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then just made the switch over to family practice.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, very good. Well, we're happy to have you here in Jackson.
Thank you.
Yes. And so how do you end up from gastroenterology to nurse practitioner, family practice? How does that work? Did you do gastro as a nurse practitioner or?
Your training as a FNP is family practice based. So once you do get out of school, you do have the opportunity to specialize or go into family practice.
Okay.
So I think family practice is kind of back to my roots as a NP. That's what I'm trained on. That's what my focus is, and the whole time I'm in school. But the switch kind of came up kind of unexpected. I was working in Gallipolis, and that was quite a drive.
For Beaver, yeah.
Yeah, it
Especially.
was. So this drive is really nice. I like being right here in Jackson, and it's a lot more familiar for me because I just grew up just down the road a little bit.
Sure.
So.
Well, good. Well, we're so happy to have you here in the area, and so our area went through this. I felt like kind of influx of all the old school family doctors kind of retired all at the same time, and we were like, and I know that there were a lot of folks that just felt really lost. They weren't sure. There wasn't anyone to go to. And then all of the nurse practitioners started coming in and whatever, and this is so good because you all are so wonderful, and I still think that nurse practitioners are awesome because y'all start as nurses and you kind of have that that kind of side of it, the nurturing side of it as well.
Yeah. I'm getting a lot of patients that their providers, their doctors have retired, and older population. So, and And it's really hard. It's really hard for them. They're really sad when that happens because
It
they,
is.
yeah, they know that person their whole life and they have to start over and they're, in their 80s. And but I'm, here to help them make that transition easy, as easy as I can.
Well, and I think that that's wonderful because I don't know, you just feel like helpless.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know where to turn. And I think that Holzer has done such a good job of filling that void and hiring people in to fill that void.
Mm-hmm.
So welcome, and we're so happy that you're here. Yay. All right, so family, so nurse practitioner versus family doctor and all of that stuff. You all can do pretty much all of the same things
Yes.
that
yes.
the I call old school family doctor,
Mm-hmm.
that you grew up with.
Yeah, we're able to do pretty much the same thing. I do have all nurse practitioners. They have a doctor, a collaborator, and we would want to do, things that would align with what he is comfortable with because he ultimately signs off on us.
Okay.
Yeah, we're able to do everything that a doctor does, just about.
Okay. And and so that makes it very, very nice. But yet you still have that little nurturing thing going on. So I think that's great too.
Yes.
So why is it important for everybody to be established with a family doctor? And I know, obviously the younger you are, you're like, I'm invincible. I don't need, any of that stuff. So what would you say to the population out there that maybe doesn't have a family practitioner?
It's very important to have a family doctor. They're kind of like your health coordinator throughout your life.
I call them the concierge.
Yes, to guide you. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. So even like young age 20s, when you hit the 18, you moved off from your pediatrician. You still need to go to family doctor because lab work like once a year just to make sure everything's where it should be. You might feel okay, but your lab work might not show that. There might be something abnormal with like your cholesterol or something going on like that. And starting you on treatment or lifestyle management early could help prevent, now that you're 20, but when you're in your 30s and 40s, prevent complications.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we had some folks from the health department in the other day, and we were talking about different heart programs that they have going on, the Hug Your Heart Day and all that stuff. And we were talking about that very thing, hypertension. So many people don't realize that they have high blood pressure.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know because you may feel bad, but you don't know you feel
don't
bad.
know. Yeah.
Cholesterol, my husband, he just went and had his lab work done, and yeah. He's what called me. He said, "Oh, great. I have to take another pill."
Yeah.
But that's good to know,
Yeah.
and just because you feel fine doesn't necessarily mean that everything inside you is going the right way. So
yeah. And like health screenings, like cancer screenings, even in your 20s, there's preventative screenings that if you don't have a family doctor, you're not going to set yourself up for it usually.
Correct.
So your PCP is going to help you get those lined up to make sure you're getting all your screenings, all those preventative measures.
And it's just like, for example, myself, and I'll tell a story on myself, but I think that this is very valid to what we're discussing is we were talking about Laura Paul the other day, and I ended up seeing her for something else. And she said, while I was there, she's looking through the computer, and she said, "Hey, do you know I have a thyroid cyst?" I do. And she said, "Do you know it's been a year since you've had that checked? And I have it in here that you're supposed to have an ultrasound once a year. Have you had that done yet?" And I said, I had no idea it had been a year already. Like, it's COVID and you lose all track of time. And so I was like, no, I had no idea that I was supposed to do that. And she's like, yeah. So we went ahead and got that taken care of and whatever. And had I not gone in to see her,
yeah,
heck, I wouldn't have known, and it's like, so these are the things that going to your family doctor, that blood work every year, taking your blood pressure, all of those basic things. Plus, if you have any, don't feel well or whatever, you have someone to go to too.
Yes. It's a great resource, and you should have one your whole life. So
that's right. And again, think of your family doctor as your concierge, as she sent me and like, hey, did you know?
Yeah.
No, I didn't
Yeah.
know. So thank you for letting me know. But those are all the things that they can do. So what are the things that you see most?
You mean issues that come in?
Yeah.
Lots in this area, lots of blood pressure issues, cholesterol, definitely. Anxiety, depression, there's a lot of that.
Are you
Um,
seeing that more? Like, is it's becoming more prevalent?
at younger ages,
Mhm.
yes, yes, very common.
Do you think it was there? So I had this discussion with someone the other day. This is why I'm asking. Do you think it was there before and people didn't say anything, or do you think?
I think that's part of it. Yes.
Yeah.
Depression and anxiety is more, broadcasted now. So people are okay with talking about it.
Which
And
is fantastic.
yes. And I think, before like the older generation, that's not how they were brought up. You didn't talk about that.
No,
And
you were just either crazy or something.
yeah. So I think that's a lot of it too. And so the younger ages are turning for help for those issues, medication, behavioral therapy. There's lots of options. So
And I think that that's not to focus in on that, but I think that that's something I really hope people will take time to talk to your family doctor
hmm
about, because that doesn't mean you have to be like highly medicated and whatever, there could be, therapies or
yes.
exercise or,
hmm
all kind of different things that you could do, getting a hobby, like, I don't know, like there's
hmm
all kind of different things that you could discuss that might not necessarily mean medicine.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
think that's what people are afraid of.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, there's lots of options. We have lots of resources at Holzer that isn't medication based. We have some psychiatry. We have behavioral health resources. So it's not, you don't have to get on antidepressants, anxiety medication if you don't want to. There's other options.
yeah, so that's just one little
Mm-hmm.
chunk of it, but please, say something.
Yes. Yes.
That's
Yes.
the
Don't be
main
afraid to
thing.
say anything.
Yeah. And again, you're in there with your family doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what you're there for. You're not going to go out and judge anybody
Mm-hmm.
or, oh my gosh, that's the highest cholesterol I've seen all day. Can you believe it?
No.
No, it's not like that. Like, you're there to help the folks,
Yes.
and that's your main goal.
Yes. Yes. No
So
judgment.
say
Nope.
something.
Yeah.
Um, so do you see, like, with hypertension? So you mentioned our area is very, hypertension and cholesterol. High cholesterol is very prevalent. Why do you think that is?
Diet and exercise. Yes, our area, that's what a lot of it comes down to, and a lot of it's genetics too. I mean, some people, they exercise like crazy, they eat healthy,
Yeah,
and they're still, their cholesterol's still super high, blood pressure's high. So some of it does come down to genetics.
I think it does.
Definitely. But that's, why you need to definitely be more proactive. You have that
Correct.
family history of a mom or dad that's had a heart disease, a heart attack. You need to be extra proactive in your health.
And I'm glad you said that, because it was like, back to my husband, I'm telling stories on him, but I told this the other day when we were talking
Yeah.
about heart health, and we had a physical for like, we were like 24, 25 years old for some insurance, and they took his blood pressure, and they were like, and I mean, he works out every day, we don't eat, we do the right things. And he was like, your blood pressure's sky high. And he was like, nuh-uh. And, so we tested it like 5 times or 10 times during the duration of that physical. And he's like, dude, I'm telling you, like, it's like way high. So he's been on blood pressure medicine for years, and there is a family history of that. And I think that is, and that's okay too. Don't be ashamed of that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the way you're put together.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
And you said, because you said he was 25.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if your body gets used to your blood pressure being up that high for so long, you won't even know it. And then, that's that's not good for your heart long term.
Right.
So it's good, to have a PCP to look for things like that.
But at 25, you think you're invincible and you don't think
Yes,
there's
you
ever going to
do.
be anything wrong with you. So
Yeah.
that was just by happenstance we figured that out.
Yep. Well, that's good. You were proactive.
Yeah. But so that's what I'm saying. Don't be us. Have your primary care practitioner and she will take good care of you. So screenings wise, say you're not with your pediatrician anymore, and there is, man, people leave their pediatricians kicking and streaming,
I
which
know.
cracks me up.
Yeah.
You're 21, you need to go.
Yes, that's very common. They were with, but a lot of times they're with them from the day they're born.
No,
So
I'm not leaving Dr. Batista. But no, so you do
Yeah.
have to make that transition.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it is hard, but try to make it as easy as possible for you. And we're there in the same way that a pediatrician will be for you. So
Yeah. And so when you're in your 20s, would there be different health screenings than say when you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s on up? How does that kind of go?
Yeah, in your 20s, we're not going to be, as far as blood work, there's a few labs we might do once, but once you start getting to your 30s, 40s, there's more screenings for like diabetes that has to happen more often. You start to get to where you need to have colonoscopies.
Yay, that's
yes,
fun.
Yeah, and that age just went down to 45, so
I
it was 50.
I heard that.
Yeah. Are you up to date on your colonoscopy?
I am, unfortunately. I mean, fortunately.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that. But yeah.
Wait, are you saying I'm over 45?
No.
I'm just kidding you. Yeah, I totally am. But no, they yes, that's not a fun thing, but it needs to be done.
Like mammograms, in your 20s, you'll still need to have your cervical cancer screenings.
Yes.
So that is one thing that, as women, we have to start doing.
Again, not fun, needs
No.
to be done.
Yes.
Yes. I had a doctor tell me once, OB, he said, if you're looking forward to coming and seeing me, I'd think there was something wrong with you. Because I was like, oh, I hate this. He was like, well, I'm glad.
Yes.
I don't really know anyone that thinks it's
Yeah.
fun. So anyway, I thought that was really cute. But so there kind of adds up
Yes.
more as you get a little bit older.
Yeah, if you're in your 20s and you don't have any health issues, just coming in once a year to get blood work to make sure everything looks good.
Okay.
Do blood pressure checks whenever you come in. Just once a year is efficient. But as you get older, you start having health issues. You will have to be seen more often. So.
Okay. And so I wonder what made the colonoscopy thing go from 50 to 45.
More colon cancer is being found at younger ages.
At younger ages.
Yeah, it's very sad. Yeah, but yes.
And it's the thing is with the colonoscopy, again, it's it's not fun. But it's just like getting your yearly pelvic exams and all of that. It's so preventable.
Yeah. Oh, yes. It is. It is such a great resource, and specializing in that area for a couple years.
Yeah.
I've seen patients that have no family history and no symptoms, but it was their time to have a screening, and they did, and we found cancer. And so it is very important that you get your screenings done. So.
Yeah, and so colonoscopies. The cool thing about Holzer, and I say this a lot, is you all kind of most things you can do in house, and so you look at your family doctor, and they are the concierge to get you hooked up with the person for the colonoscopy, and you can set all that stuff up when you come see your family doctor.
Yes,
which is great.
Yeah, and it's so much better to just stay in one service like through Holzer because of the continuity of care. I mean, once you start going outside, it makes it a little bit harder, as providers to kind of stay on top of what this doctor done or that doctor versus if you just stay here at Holzer to see specialties. we're able to see it as soon as you come in and see what's been going
That's right,
on.
because it's all intertwined
Mhm.
in, a computer system and
Yep.
all of that stuff.
Yeah, it's right there for us to see. Anytime you see your urologist, your nephrologist here in Holzer, I mean, it's right there.
Okay. And that's the thing. There's many different specialists as well. So then you can just go and see them. And it may be that you have to go to the Gal Police location or you have to go to the
Mhm.
hospital location or something, but that's okay. You're still within the same network, and that's important.
Yes, I think just about most services are in Jackson too, at the hospital location. I think there would be very few that you would have to go to Galplus. We should be able to get you in Jackson if that's where you'd want to stay.
Yeah, I know. I like when I had the colonoscopy done, I went to up on the hill. And it was, well, obviously the prep situation is the worst.
That's the biggest
But
complaint.
once I got there, I was like, they treated me like a queen. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, this was just like such a sweet experience. I mean, it's not like, woo, but they were so nice and so kind, and I
Yeah.
was scared, and it was during COVID and all of that, and everyone was just, really went out of their way to make me feel comfortable, and that was a really good thing. And I got to eat like a whole lot after I
After.
got done. What would you like? All of it.
Oh.
Stop by every restaurant in Jackson just to pick me up something. So that's good. But no, that's definitely something that you should get done for sure. So okay, so you get 45, you get into the colon screenings. What past that, what would be some of the additional screenings that you would get into?
Mammograms for women.
What's the standard now for that?
50 every 2 years.
Okay.
So and even like if men who have any history, that's something to kind of keep in mind too. It's not just women.
For sure.
Yeah. So it's not common, but you still need to kind of just be aware. But yeah, the mammograms, start doing those. The DEXA scans to check for like osteoporosis. That's when you start to get a little bit older that you'd have to start those. When you
Is
get up
that
into
like
your
a
60s.
bone density, or is that
Yeah,
something else?
yeah,
Okay.
it's a bone density DEXA scan.
And that's a
So,
super easy test.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. And then some of your immunizations, the pneumonia vaccines, shingles vaccines, that kind of stuff.
Oh. When do
Yeah.
you start getting those?
50
Since I'm old.
shingles is 50. The pneumonia vaccine is 60, 65.
Okay.
So just things to keep in mind.
How effective is the shingles vaccine? Does it seem to work out pretty well?
Yeah,
Okay.
it is very preventative.
Because I can
So.
tell you, I can't imagine that anyone would want shingles. I mean, family members that have had it.
Yeah,
It's horrific.
It's rough. So it's a great a vaccine to help prevent that from happening. So
Now, I'm just asking you this out of my curiosity. So there is a chickenpox vaccine now, correct?
I'm not sure.
For the kids?
Yes.
So then does that mean that shingles will be eventually kind of eliminated because don't you have to have chickenpox first to get shingles?
No.
Oh.
No, you don't have to. You can
Oh.
still get it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you should still be able to get it.
Okay. There you go. I thought maybe I was onto something.
Mm-mm.
Dang it. Okay. All right. So as an adult, if you're relatively healthy and you don't have a cold or something that you need to be seen, would once a year be sufficient to see
Yes.
your primary care
Mm-hmm. Yes,
doctor?
so that's pretty normal. Patients that don't really take any medicine, don't have any health concerns, just once a year.
Okay, very good. And so we talked a little bit about, referrals and all of that, but it's, why would you tell people, it's very important to stick within the Holzer family? And then we talked about that just a little bit, but like, why would that be important? So that you can refer folks and
To stay in Holzer,
yeah,
the continuity. I mean,
for sure.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing with staying within Holzer. Your care is you're just going to be taken care of as a whole better if because we're able to communicate with specialties. It's so much easier. So that's the biggest reason.
Yeah, for sure. And it's you can call someone down the
Yeah.
hall or whatever and be
Yeah.
like, hey, can we need to get this person in to see this, and so that's great. So what would you say, if I asked you, are you accepting new patients? How does one get in to see you? That kind of thing.
So I just now learned that you can get online and and schedule an appointment off of the Holzer website. You can go under pick a provider, search a provider, and you can schedule an appointment right off there. You'll be able to see what open slots are available and everything. So that's a great resource.
Very good.
Yes.
And you can say, I want Courtney Moore
Yeah,
to see me. And
Yeah.
look, and there she is. Thanks, Dylan. And you can call the one, was it 8554 Holzer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and schedule that way, or you can call up to the clinic location, or whatever if you're local. And so there's many ways to get to you, or to schedule it online as well. Now, are you doing? I know some of the docs are doing like the telehealth visits and that kind of thing.
Yes, we do provide that. If you're established, then yeah, the telehealth visits. But you should, for the first time, you should get established like in Holzer before we start doing telehealth visits. But once you are,
Sure.
telehealth visits, if you're having an issue, we can just do a phone call, a visit, a video visit, so you don't have to come in for every issue that you're having.
Well, I know, especially after the stupid C word,
Yes.
reared its ugly head, a lot of folks, I would have to bring my 2 children with
Yes.
me and whatever. And who wants to come into a, clinic? And it's just so convenient to be
is.
able to do the telehealth. You don't have to leave the home sometimes, or, people that have trouble,
Get transportation.
getting
Yes.
transportation, that kind of thing. It's a very good resource for that as well.
Yeah, it is really nice. I mean, you could be at work and just say, I need a 30-minute break to do a visit with my provider. So it is. The one thing COVID has done is has helped with convenience for
Sure.
healthcare
And
and
technology.
access. Yes.
So what would be appropriate reasons to do a telehealth visit? I mean, you're not going to be like, I'm having chest pains and I want to do a telehealth
No, if you're having
visit.
chest pain, please
Just call
just
911.
go to the ER. If a patient's, I'll get requests if they're having like sinus issues. If a patient with COPDs, feeling, like they're having some kind of exacerbation going on, they might call in. But a lot of like sinus issues, kind of, viral things, they might call and want to do a visit. So those are kind of more of your reasons. I guess people would want to go to urgent care. They might just call their PCP and we can do a phone visit.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, and if nothing else, start there, and then if you
Yeah,
say,
if
I need you to,
come in.
I'd really rather see
Yeah.
you in person.
Yeah.
You can do that as well.
Yes. Yeah, and a lot of times, we kind of screen before they'll say this is why they're wanting to be seen by a phone visit or video. If it's something that you definitely need to come in and be evaluated in person, we'd let you know. But if they want to do a phone visit, video visit, I mean, we try to accommodate that, to the best that we can.
Okay. Very good. And it just, I think there's very appropriate times for that. Chest pains are not one of them.
No.
I've heard the craziest stories about that. Like, go to the ER now.
Yeah.
Situation. Don't mess around with that. So, all right. Well, is there anything else you would like our viewers to know about or to talk about while you're here?
We have a Hug Your Heart event this Friday. If you're wanting to come and you can meet some of our providers, myself, I'll be there.
Let's see. I have some information on that. So I'm going to cheat. Where is it? Here it is. Yeah, it's at Parks Edge. I got info. I'm on it, girls. So is Holzer part of the Hug Your Heart event? Okay, very, very good. Yeah, and our folks from the health department, when they were in the other day, we were talking about heart health, and they had mentioned that event. So they gave me some info on it. So it will be at, this says the YMCA.
Well, YMCA and Holzer is doing it. YMCA started it.
Is it at the YMCA?
At Parks Edge.
Okay, because this says it's at the YMCA.
It's
It's at Park's Edge. I'll tell you what, they're across the street from each other. Go where the cars are. It's at Park's Edge. Okay.
We're going to be doing all kinds of free screenings, like Courtney and the family practice group. They're going to be doing some.
Well, come over here and tell everybody.
Okay, sorry. I'm Amy. Sorry.
This is Amy. She's awesome, and we're making her fun. This is how I trick her into coming on the program.
I was over there. I liked it over there. Anyway, Holzer's going to be doing all kinds of free screenings. We've got the audiologist there. She's going to be doing some hearing screenings.
Wait, hearing screenings.
So this is for
That's
seniors.
great.
We're going to have some blood works be doing some blood work, some blood pressures.
All of that?
Courtney and the family practice group, they're going to be doing some foot screenings, some DEXA screenings. So there's going to be door prizes. I mean, it's a huge event, fun event.
And everybody's welcome, right?
Oh, yeah. All the seniors are welcome. Come on
down.
Yeah, you get free food. You get free screenings.
Free food, free screenings. You get to meet Courtney in real life. It's awesome. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Amy. Aw. No, it's so fun when I get to sneak them on the program, like trick them into being on the program. Carrie's here too. We might do something with her here in a second. But no, this is a good thing. Oh, so Rick's asking about PSA screenings.
Yes, so that's a blood test. And usually that doesn't start, you don't have to start doing them until you're in your 40s, but
It's a guy thing.
yeah, I mean, but we check them for other reasons. If that's something that you want to have done, we could always, it's just a blood test. But that usually starts in the 40s unless you're having issues.
What does that test, like, what is that?
So if that is elevated, that is it's a screening for prostate cancer.
Yes.
So yes. And like I said, it's just a blood test that we could do. Super simple screening. But usually starts in the 40s, but we're able to do it at any time.
Okay. And that's a whole other thing. Prostate cancer is one of those that's very silent, and you just need to get that blood test and find out. And if there's something elevated, it doesn't necessarily mean you have cancer.
Yeah.
You could have an infection or whatever, but you need to know.
Yeah. And that's just something that we'll run, especially someone that might be in their middle ages. We'll go ahead and run that as a screening. And if it comes back elevated and you weren't having any symptoms, it just depends how elevated it is. It's something that sometimes we'll watch depending on how high. We might have to send you over to urology to get it checked out.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just a simple blood test to look at your prostate levels. So
Good question, Rick, because I didn't know what the age on that was. So yeah, very good. So all of these screenings, this is why it's very important to have your family doctor and be established with them.
yes.
Because she can answer all of these questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
And she's so sweet. Look. All right. And yeah, don't forget Hug Your Heart Day will be February 10th. So it's 2 days from now. Oh, wow. Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying it's at Park's Edge. Okay. And that's from 11 to 2. And there will be all kind of free screenings, free food, free all the stuff. So come on in. And meet Courtney.
Yeah.
There you go. It doesn't have to drive all the way to Gallipolis now from Beaver.
Yes, it's so nice. Saving me a lot of gas.
I bet.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. So, what do you love about? So you've changed positions at Holzer. So you've obviously stuck within the family. What do you love about working there?
Like I said earlier,
Besides
Holzer,
the drive.
yeah. Holzer, they from the time I started, they just have such a family atmosphere, not just towards their patients, but also with the coworkers, and that's just the type of atmosphere they have all around. So I really enjoy that about Holzer, just that kind of family, that knit kind of environment.
And I hear that a lot from the folks that come in and sit where you're sitting today, but also, from my perspective or from, a patient perspective, you can walk in the front door and number one, I mean, you're going to see people that because we live in a small community, but I feel like, you're not just a number, you're not just a name, you're cared for. And If somebody can't figure it out, then they're going to send you somewhere where we can figure it out. And there's some people always going the extra mile for that, and I think that that's very, very important. And sometimes you don't see that. Sometimes you get dismissed quickly.
Yeah, and that's the thing about family practice is, coming from a specialty family practice, one thing about being a PCP is you get that long-term relationship with the patient versus, if they're coming into a specialty, usually it's just a couple appointments. It's nothing that's chronic. So that is nice. You really grow a relationship with patients, a long-term relationship. So that's something that I look forward to more so in family practice.
Yeah, it's fun. You go through people having babies and all of that, and then seeing their babies and then grandkids. And, you've talked to family doctors have been like, there's some of my patients I'm on like third generation now of the family. And that's so cool. It'd have to be neat to see all of that and see the folks grow up.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, cool. Is there anything else you girls wanted to mention? Carrie's here. Carrie, you need to come over and say hi to everyone.
I don't have a great voice.
Well, we don't care.
I know you don't care.
Carrie's going to come over and say hi. And when Marla comes back to work after having the twins, which will be in the next week or two, we're going to make her. We're going to make her. No, you have to, because we love Carrie. So, this is Carrie. Carrie and I go way back from
Well, I started in Jackson in 2001.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 2000. I was gonna guess. So yeah,
We were both children.
we were.
Yes.
Yeah, we were like what 10
Yes.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, welcome and thank you. And so I wanted y'all to see Carrie because she is always behind the scenes. And since we made Amy do it, we make Carrie do it too. And then when Marla comes back next week, we're going to make her do it too. She doesn't know.
She can bring the twins.
I was going to say, so Marla just had twins. So if she doesn't physically bring them, she needs to bring pictures and we can show them up on the screen. How's that? Love that. So speaking of, you family doctors can do like, all of the screenings, kind of like you can do PAPs and all that stuff too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we're able to do pap smears.
All right.
So
there you go. Don't leave James. He just ran away. All right. Well, we'll let you guys get out of here for the day. We appreciate you coming in, and it was so good to meet you.
It's nice meeting you.
And welcome to Jackson. We're so happy to have you here.
Well, thank you.
Yes, and if you need a family doctor, want to get established with someone, I know we've had some locally again retire or move away or whatever. Courtney's here for you. Give her a call, 1-855-4-HOLZER, or what's the number up at the 395-8801. Yep. Okay.
Or you can just see her in the grocery store.
Or you can just see her at Walmart. It's great. Either way. Say, hey, I need an appointment.
I can do it right there on my phone for
I've got this rash. No. I bet that happens too.
Yes.
Don't do that.
No, it's okay.
All right. Well, get back to work. You got people to take care of. All right.
All right.
Thank you. All right, Dylan, do you have that weather pulled up? Because I know that it is a kind of all over the place. Thank you, girls. You are adorable, and we love you all so much. Thank you. So here is the weather forecast for the day. It is looking a little bit kind of all over the place for the rest of the week, but today, not too bad. Partly cloudy skies with highs of 55, lows of 46. Tomorrow, that rain popping back into the forecast. However, much warmer temperatures with highs of 67, lows of 38. And then on Friday, and it looks, the great news is not a lot of rain through the weekend, and we can handle low 50s all the way through the beginning of your work week. So maybe a little cooler on Saturday, but not too bad. So, all right. Well, very, very good. James is here.
I am.
Yes. He tried to run away, but I
I
wouldn't let him.
tried to.
Yeah.
So did you watch the State of the Union, President's State of the Union, or LeBron James's State of the Union last night?
Either.
Okay.
Neither nor.
Neither nor.
No.
Well, I watched LeBron.
Did you?
Yeah. So
If I had to choose, it would have been LeBron.
So with 10 seconds left in the third quarter,
Yes.
he made a 14-foot jump shot
Yes.
to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most points in NBA history. And then instead of waiting 10 seconds for the quarter to be over, he stopped everything and gave a 10-minute speech.
That's so LeBron.
I know.
Like,
it was
all about me.
It was so funny. And then needless to say, the Lakers lost the game.
No.
He only scored 2 more points the rest of the game, and they lost by 3.
That sounds about right.
It was one of
just classic.
Yeah, it was really bizarre. Like, I mean, I've never seen a basketball game where someone was trying so hard to reach a personal milestone and not really trying that hard to win the game before. You know what I mean?
That's so the NBA, though, for you.
Oh, yeah. I was like, when Kareem broke Wilt's record, I guarantee you he did not stop the game and give a 10-minute speech. He kept playing.
That is hilarious. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
So funny.
Yeah, so that's what I did last night. What'd you do last night?
Yeah, very good. So took Olive on a walk through town.
Yeah.
And so she's a scaredy dog. So she has to, so we're trying to get her not to be a scaredy dog.
Okay.
So like truck noises. And of course, the first thing I did was I parked at the brewery, got her out of the vehicle. And what is right by the brewery that makes really loud noises?
I don't know.
The fire station.
Oh, the fire station.
The fire station.
Like,
get her out of the car.
I was like, everything downtown makes noises.
Get her out of the car, set her down.
Yeah.
And I'm like talking to some folks in the parking lot. I'm like, well, she's a scaredy dog. I'm trying to, get her in here to get her socialized a little bit. And about that time, it was like, and I was like, she jumped back in the car. I'm
That's
like,
funny.
oh, well, that didn't work out so well. But anyway, so did that.
She'll be less surprised next time she hears a sound like that.
That's kind of the way I look at it. We got home, cooked some dinner, and watched another what's the Sylvester
Tulsa King?
Tulsa King.
Yeah.
There was a new episode, so I watched that. And it is hysterical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it pretty corny? I heard
It's
that
pretty
I read an article that Kevin Costner wants to leave Yellowstone.
So
and they're gonna wrap the season or the series up earlier.
So it's really bizarre. Basically, so this is the way I read it in between the lines.
Yeah.
Kevin Costner is like, they're trying to make it sound like Kevin Costner and Paramount are in a big fight or something. But the way I read it in between the lines is Kevin Costner signed up for this having no idea of what monster they were creating.
Sure.
And he's like, dude, I'm like semi-retired.
Right.
I'm directing and producing another movie right now. I just want to film a few hours here and a few hours there. I can't eat, sleep, and breathe Yellowstone. And they want him to. And he's like, I will work, like 2 days a week or whatever. And they're like, no, we can't have that. And
working
so
on
I think
a TV
that's
show
kind
like
of,
that is a time-consuming job. I mean, those guys that have to be there like first thing in the morning, and they're there all day.
Sure. And, like Jamie said, and we were talking, he and I were having the same discussion, and I'm like, this is what I'm reading into it, is he's just like, hey, I didn't sign up for this to but you're also riding horses, you're galloping across the countryside, you're physically doing things. That's got to take a toll on him.
Sure.
He's not like a spring chicken.
He's probably in his 70s, I guess.
So, while looks like he's in great shape and whatever, and you never would want him to leave the show. But they have a spinoff that they're working on.
Yeah, I heard that they're going to do a spinoff with Matthew McConaughey.
They're in negotiation with Matthew McConaughey.
Which I'm going to watch that.
I know. And they're saying, though, that in this spinoff, if it happens and the Kevin Costner thing kind of goes south,
right,
they'll move some of the characters over to that spinoff instead of it being like, 1800 or whatever.
I mean, his character could also just die.
Who, Kevin Costner?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess. I
could just keep doing it without him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
This is an ensemble cast. He's not he's the
Jamie
central
said-
character, but he's not really like the main character.
I mean, the good thing about Yellowstone is those characters are all so strong.
yeah,
You could have a Rip show, you could have,
Sure. Yeah.
the Daughters show, you could have, a show about any number of them. And
oh yeah,
but like Jamie said, he's like, listen, shows are allowed to end. They should just
true.
end it.
well, it's
It's 5 seasons.
yeah.
We're 5 seasons into it. People love it, and
Yeah.
that's fine.
Mhm.
But Kevin Costner doesn't owe it to the world
Sure.
to continue to do something that
Yeah.
he's not happy
That
doing.
man already made Field of Dreams. He's done enough for you people.
By golly, yes.
Yeah.
So, and that's a fair statement as well. That it could just end.
Yeah.
Like no one wants it to, but it
Yeah.
could just end.
I'm okay if it
So,
ends.
I'm not.
Hey,
Not at all.
Speaking about series that
Yes.
never end.
Yes.
So a few weeks ago, we watched the newest version of Dylan's little short film series.
We did.
So it's called Runaway Reagan.
Yes.
It's about a guy named Reagan that runs away from people, I guess.
Yes.
That did not happen at all in the episode we saw, so I don't know. But we saw part 1 of part 4. We have not seen part 1, 2, or 3, but we have seen part 1 of part 4. And I understand that Dylan has part 2 of part 4 already.
So I feel like this is like a Quentin Tarantino deal where he's putting all the scenes before the
Yeah.
scenes that make any sense.
Right. It's
Okay.
Yeah, it's like
And he's
all
going to
mixed up.
say, who's Quentin Tarantino?
You know what he asked me earlier today?
What?
I was talking about LeBron.
He didn't say who's LeBron, did he?
One, he knew who LeBron James was, but he didn't. When I just said LeBron, he didn't know who I was talking about. But then I said
Dylan.
But then I said Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
No.
And he didn't know who Kareem
Dylan.
Abdul-Jabbar was until he remembered that a rapper did a song about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah.
And then he remembered.
Yeah.
Dylan.
Yeah.
Dylan. Oh
But
my.
Dylan, do you have any introduction for your short film?
So he did a short film. So we were supposed to play it yesterday and blabbed too much. So here we are today.
Here we are today.
So this is part 2 of part 4, and then the next one is the finale of the entire series. It's over
Ooh.
after that. And this is kind of like raising the stakes. And normally we just do like, he runs away, but this time he's not running away. He's running towards his fears, and he's fighting Corbin.
So what happened to part 1, 2, and 3?
Those were like a minute or 2 long, and we did a compilation for the high school, and everybody watched it on the news show. I did
Okay.
not put that in here, so yeah, you got this.
That might have given some context.
I mean, I could throw that in.
That's all right. Let's just
Okay.
watch the new one.
All right.
And we'll, if
New
this-
one
yeah.
heard. So this
So
is
just
something.
understand that this is a little out of context.
So
Yes,
Dylan
all you
and
missed was that he got his friend out of class pretending to be a police officer, and that was Reagan. Corbin got Reagan out of class. Then
Yes.
Reagan betrayed him, and they hate each other now.
and then they threw bananas at each other.
No,
that was a
somebody
different
else.
thing.
Oh, is that a different one?
Yeah, it's a different person.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
Lord
was
have
the
mercy.
human banana.
Okay.
The human banana is not to be confused with Runaway Reagan.
Oh,
These are
I
separate
thought we were all
entities.
intertwined.
Well, it is intertwined. They're just
Yeah,
different
it's a
characters.
representation of Corbin's fears of bananas.
Hurt.
It's
All
very
right, you guys
deep.
ready to watch it?
Let's
Yeah,
push
do
it.
From the ancients until now, I've been running. Running from things, entities, and events that I cannot control, nor did I foresee. I've been running from my fears. No longer will I be running.
He's still running, Dylan.
He's running away from Little Caesars.
I need to face my fears
Dollar
head
Store
on
raising their prices
and no
to
longer run from them.
$1.25. Better run away from that too.
Yeah,
It's
I take
time.
umbrage with that.
Yeah.
I will face him again. It will be the battle of the century.
Runaway Reagan, Battle of the Century.
Oh, jeez. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bump into you.
Yeah,
I didn't see you there.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Right.
Corbin. Corbin has unlocked a new power. Now I need to unlock mine.
Reagan has unlocked the Monarch of Chaos.
What's happening?
Alright then, I guess I'll join in. Wait a minute.
Good gamer.
Reference to an old video.
Perfect.
Ooh, is he gonna drink cleaning solution?
He had a coffee cup in his pocket. Oh, God. Kids don't do this at home.
No, he's like stoned.
Why is Oklahoma flying around?
I think it's a pointy finger.
Hi, I'm Salesman Jim.
That doesn't really explain why.
Again, what is with this foam finger glove? Where did it even come from? Jim!
Who will emerge victorious in this battle? Find out in part 3.
Oh man. Well, that's really something, Dylan.
That's all you got to say? That's really something, Dylan.
No, I mean it's awesome. I mean it really is.
I
it's
mean,
great.
it's got me sitting on the edge of my seat waiting to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, where did that foam finger come from?
So remember Battle? I don't think you guys saw it, but no, not Runaway Reagan. It was called Replaced, and it was when Salesman Jim was introduced into the series, and Corbin had a Thanos gauntlet, and he's like basically saying, "I'll defeat you." And then Jim's like, "Oh yeah," and he went to pull out his thing, and it was just a foam finger, and he's like, "What am I supposed to do with this?" Then he had to fight Corbin. Well, now he's got the foam finger again.
So we were making fun of Dylan for not knowing who LeBron and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar were. Do you know what a Thanos gauntlet is?
I have no idea. Do you?
Yes.
Oh.
It's a Marvel thing.
Very good.
Yeah.
No, good job, Dylan.
No, yeah,
that was
it's awesome.
really cool, and you are very talented, and we love that you have vision and creativity.
Yeah.
Even if I don't
Well
get
said.
some of the
Hey,
references.
Man, I guarantee you. I mean, you might not know who Quentin Tarantino is, but I guarantee you, before he made Reservoir Dogs, he made something that looks like that.
Like that.
Yeah.
And he did it all out of order, exactly like that.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, that's great. You know, keep working at that.
Yeah,
stuff.
no, absolutely. And, you know, we didn't have, I can promise you, you know, we didn't have that technology and ability to do, I mean, I didn't even have that stuff in college, you know, like, so I think that what you guys are able to do and that you have the option and an opportunity to play around with all this equipment and stuff is great. So
true.
keep on doing it. And, you know, the sky's the limit. It's only as limiting as your imagination. And so keep it up.
Yeah. Very cool.
And keep on making Subway subs too. I'd be so sad if Subway wasn't around.
I would feel the same.
You would or wouldn't?
I would. That would not affect me very much.
I would be sad. I love Subway. Just to let you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like if you need some sort of kind of fast food, but need to do like a low carb option or whatever, because you guys have salads and stuff. You can.
I will say I prefer Subway much more than something like McDonald's, just because if I go and get a sub, it's like, oh, it's just bread and meat. If I go to McDonald's, it's like, why is it dripping? Like
Okay, one. Tell me that tuna fish at Subway is not dripping.
It's not.
It's not dripping.
It is some watery tuna fish.
No,
it's
it's
actually
good.
kind of too dry most of the time. I have to add more liquid in.
No, I love their
that's
tuna.
not better, Dylan.
It's better than the
He's the
bun
reason why it's
sagging
dripping,
down.
evidently.
No. Hey, I'm all for it. Did you know that Subway is the world's largest fast food chain by number of locations?
No, I did not.
I did.
McDonald's is it?
More than McDonald's, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Subways just appear anywhere. It's like an old laundromat.
It
shuts
costs
down into
less to
Subway.
open a Subway chain than
Well,
to open a McDonald's chain.
I
And
guess-
Subway doesn't have rules about how close or far they have to be
I was
from
going to
another
say,
location.
because you can be, I mean, you look at Jackson, there was at one point, there were 3 Subways in in
Mhm.
Jackson.
Mhm.
So, like, I don't
Well,
think there are
still,
anymore.
Right? There's still 3.
No, they shut down.
No, the
Okay.
one out at the gas station is not there anymore. But, so there's 2 still, but,
Yeah.
so yeah. But
There's
no,
3
I
in
think-
Athens.
Is there?
Yeah, there's one on State Street, one on Court Street, and one in the Plains.
I'm a big fan of that new one with the Capicola.
Supreme meat.
Yes, Supreme Meat.
You know what?
Try it with the vinaigrette.
Oh.
So good.
What would they call
Oh,
that?
vinaigrette. Okay, I thought you meant vinegar for a minute, and I was like, oh.
No, the vinegar.
Yeah,
What's
the
it called?
Subway
The
MVP,
MVP.
Parmesan vinaigrette.
Yeah, it is really good. And if you want to get super fancy, you can kind of toss your lettuce in that before you put it on your Supreme Meats. Would you do that for me, Dylan?
What do you mean? You want me to like cut the lettuce?
You have lettuce.
Yeah.
Dylan said yesterday that he doesn't
Would you
like it when
toss
people
it?
order off menu at Subway.
I bet you would. If I said, Dylan, I want my lettuce tossed in the vinaigrette before you put it on my sandwich, would you
So
do
want
it?
me to like put it in a bowl and
Yes.
like, mix it around?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess I could do that.
See? I'm that person.
Yeah, you better
I've
be,
never asked
you
anyone
better
to
be
do that.
leaving a tip if you're asking
No,
them to do
I
that.
always leave a tip.
All right.
I always leave a tip, but I've never asked anyone to do that. I was just kidding. But it would be really good if you did that.
Sounds
All right.
like it.
Cool.
Fantastic.
So that's your Subway
Yeah.
information as well as Runaway Wagon.
Why is this dripping? it's like in Christmas Vacation when the grandma wraps up the Jello mold.
It's
Clark, this one's leaking.
It's lime.
it's got cat food in it. She wrapped up the pussycat.
Oh no, smells like fried pussycat. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, what else do we have going on today? So we made it through the State of the Union.
Hey, I'll tell you what we got going on.
And none of us are hungover, which means we didn't watch it because if we had, we would be hammered drunk.
No, I didn't watch it.
No.
I read a little recap, but no.
Basically, it was he spoke, the Republicans said, liar, boo. And then the Republicans did a speech and,
Yeah.
and then all the Democrats clapped and they booed. And, these are the people that we elect to represent us.
Yeah. It's
Awesome.
Children.
Yes.
A lot of them are, at least.
Yes.
I would like to see if
The
like
majority.
they just put someone that's like non-biased in any way in the president position, but like just some random guy,
Yeah.
not like a public figure that's like I'm independent, just like some random dude that just works normally.
It would, that will never happen.
true.
It should happen, but it will never happen. And I like the way that you're thinking about that. Maybe
see.
if more people thought that way, we would have less crap in Washington.
I don't know.
It's like, I think people do go in with the best of intentions and then they get put in their place real quick.
Well, yeah, I don't know. You just to be able to be in that position, you have to,
Well, you have to
you
be
have to do
very
so many
wealthy.
things to put yourself in that
Mhm.
position,
it's
and
like
wealth
a-
is a big part of it. And there
It
are things
is,
that you have
and-
to do to develop wealth that are, some people may see as
Well, no,
compromising and things like
I
that.
think that even if you're not, you're still selling yourself to the devil for this or that or the other thing to get,
Somewhere along the line,
to get
yeah.
in there.
Probably a few times along the line.
Yeah.
What I think is funny though is I'm pretty sure you have to be like 40.
Yeah. To run for president, you have to be, what, 42?
I don't
Something
know.
like that,
Yeah,
40,
something like
40
that.
something,
I don't
yeah.
know the exact.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're probably in government. You tell us.
What? I'm not in that class.
You're not in government?
Oh, I took it last year though.
Oh. Didn't you learn that?
Hey Siri, how old do you have to be to run for U.S. president? You're not going to tell me?
Oh, she didn't just say?
Thanks, Siri. My gosh, you're going to make me read this article.
Good grief.
Good grief.
Well, God knows that
Yeah.
Biden didn't have any trouble getting in
Well,
there.
he was, there's no limit on the other end, that's for sure. There's no limit on the other end.
No, I feel like it is like 35 or 40 or something like that.
35 and have been a resident of the United States for 14 years.
Okay.
35? I thought it was older than that.
So did I.
Well, I started thinking about like the Marco Rubios and stuff of the world when they were talking about running and they were younger. So that's why I was thinking about
I don't know.
some of those folks.
I don't know. Anyway.
That's where I whipped 35 out. I don't know where from, but
I don't know. Well,
maybe I did pay
guess I'm
attention to
old
Mr.
enough
Welch
now.
in government.
You had Mr. Welch too?
Calm
Yeah.
down, Dylan.
Wait,
People
Gene
work
Welch?
for a long
Yeah.
time.
Is he still a teacher?
Yeah.
No. And he says to be more Pacific?
I don't know.
Yeah. He always says
To
Pacific.
be fair, I have trouble saying that correctly too. So
Love Mr. Welch. Had him first period government class. He's great.
6th period.
Yeah.
well, anyway,
Yeah.
it's 10 o'clock.
It is 10 o'clock.
Wonderful to know which period you guys had government.
Hey, it was memorable enough that I remembered.
I couldn't tell you what I had any period.
Yeah.
Had PE 9th period. That's it.
Oh God.
They got to basically leave early.
Yeah, right.
That's all I remember.
All right. So tomorrow, what are we doing?
Health department. I think we're going to talk about more about Hug Your Heart Day.
Okay, very good. So we mentioned that today. So, we've had numerous folks in talking about the same event. So this is how important this is.
Mhm.
And I hope that, y'all realize that this is something that you should participate in and take advantage of because it's a
Yeah.
really, really good day for you. And
For sure.
you can get some free stuff. So very
It's
good.
true.
All right. Well, we'll be back with the health department and we will talk about this, that, and the other tomorrow. Valentine's Day is coming up. Don't forget.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a little special show planned for you that day too.
We do.
And maybe a cute puppy will be here.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe not. I don't know.
We don't know.
Find out. Puppy didn't show up last time it was supposed to show up.
That's true. Yeah. We'll see. All right. Have a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Bye,
Thanks for
guys.
watching. Bye.
This just in. The Telegram News has a new website, thetelegramnews.com.
Same dedicated coverage.
Same trustworthy news with a brand new look.
Covering Jackson and Benton counties and surrounding areas.
Locally owned and operated, thetelegramnews.com has its finger on the pulse of the community.
Stay up to date on local events, high school sports, and breaking news.
Thetelegramnews.com.
Subscribe today at thetelegramnews.com.
Check it out.